Good morning and welcome to the weekend edition of Your Morning.
We have a great show ahead, including an interview with a Canadian filmmaker who took what are deemed to be some of the most intimate images of the Beatles during their historic 1968 trip to India.
Plus, coming up, a conversation about how AI can help manage your health.
But first, we hear from a heartbroken father who has been trying to get his son out of Gaza. As Israel intensifies its war in Gaza, a father here in Canada is desperately trying to get his son home to Canada. A warning to our viewers, as we have been reporting, the situation on the ground in Gaza is dire, and some of the images we're going to share might be troubling, but they are real. The family of Mamdouh Abouzetan, seen in these four pictures, and then in the after pictures on the right, are sharing how their 22-year-old son is starving in Gaza. They are waiting to reunite him with his family and three siblings who are here in Canada. For more on Mamdouh's story, we're joined in studio by his dad, Mamdouh Abouzetan. Thank you so much for being here. I know that's very hard to see those pictures.
Thank you very much for hearing me. Thank you.
You shared that you've been trying to bring Mamdouh to Canada since 2021. What has the process been like? So, and just to remind everybody, in 2021, he would have been a teenager.
Yeah,
18.
it was 18 at that moment. Like when I got approval to be a permanent resident, or when I got approval to apply for permanent resident application, I include Mamdouh and his family, like my wife, my daughter, Mamdouh, and the two sons, in the same application. And after that, the process takes time. I do understand what the meaning of the process, but the issue is it takes long time. So I said it's okay. Until now, 52 months for the application of Mamdouh and his mother and daughter and two sons. Until now, no response. So I got my PR in 2024. But the issue is now my family themselves, they don't have these papers. They don't have this PR. One of them, Mamdouh now, who is suffering from the war there in Gaza. I understand the process from the beginning, but what makes it difficult for me, that Mamdouh now is like under constant danger, which is great danger for him.
Can you describe for us, I don't even know, first of all, what communication is like with Mamdouh, how often you're able to reach him, because we know that about 70% of the communication systems on the ground in Gaza have been destroyed. What you've been able to learn, what is life like for him right now?
Yes, we are chatting with Mamdouh through the WhatsApp application. And this is the only way which we contact Mamdouh with. And this is like...
Is this him here?
Yeah, he is.
I'm sorry.
He is. He's...
It's all right. It's very painful to see these pictures. And just to, while you take a moment, well, explain to everybody, you've been going through this process for 4 years trying to bring him here.
He's a peaceful person. His only dream is just to finish his study and to start his new life. Join us here in Canada. But all these dreams distracted by the war.
He was a university student when he stayed there and
Yes,
you
he
came
was
here.
studying engineering, and at the same time, as I told you, Mamdouh, if he is not a peaceful person, he will be able to survive. He can't, because he is still no experience. This war, like 3 years now.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that, distract everything. Our home completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Mamdouh, his future, done. Now, at least we are looking for just to hold him. Just to hold this, like as a father, it's hard to see my son in this situation. And
what does he share with you about what life is like for him now? Where is he staying? Is he able to access food? What does he need? What is he missing?
He misses everything now, because even access to food, it's need money. If we can afford for him the money, it's not easy to get this food. If he's going to this area which is they distribute money, distribute food, he will not able to, because it's so dangerous. Now the situation in Gaza Strip is completely dangerous. In terms of war, this is one. Mamdouh, as I told you, living in constant danger related to bombing strikes everywhere. At the same time, the issue of hunger, which is starvation. Like, he can't find food. The access for food, if they go to, and you can see the reports, if they go to take anything for food, maybe will be killed for that. And at the same time, a lot of gangs in the streets now, Gaza. Gaza full of militant persons. No one in Gaza are now safe. So my question is, who are able to see his son as a father in this situation?
Mahmoud, just to update everybody, so you have gone through the channels. He has been approved for immigration through Quebec. He is able to come to Canada. The issue is getting him out. If I understand that correctly.
applied, yes. I applied for Mamdouh once the war started in November. In October, I started in processing to bring him in Canada.
Yeah.
In the beginning of November. In 18th of November, they put his name on the list for evacuation through Rafah border. Unfortunately, he was not able to access the Rafah border at that moment.
And what's frustrating also about this is when he was first allowed to go to the border, because he was an 18-year-old male trying to leave Gaza, he could not get approved when the rest of the children could.
The beginning, when we started the process for the PR, we as a families, as Palestinian family in 2022, applied for our families from Gaza to come here to wait the PR with us here in Canada. And I appreciate Canada government at that moment, they issued for my family TRP. This TRP allowed my wife and my 3 kids to come here in Canada, but Mamdouh, because he was 18 years old, at that moment was not easy to coordinate, to be out of Gaza from Egypt borders. So for that reason, we were not able to send him. He said that I'll finish my study, okay, and then I will join you after get approval from the PR. Because, Baba, listen, it is like time. I will finish the study and I will join you. So that's okay. Let my mother and my sister go, and I will join you. He took this decision and said, it's okay, no problem. He waited in Gaza. Now he is trapped in Gaza. Because now his age is 23 years old. I do understand that, but we applied for him when he was 18.
I know. So where does it stand right now? What do you need the government to do? How do you get him home?
I appeal everyone. I appeal the government. I appeal Mr. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. You are as a father, can you see your son in the same situation like my son? And if your son in the same situation like my son, as a father, what you will do? That's the only question that I ask. I need their help. I appealed to the government of Canada to finalize the issue of PR application, or to issue the TRP for Mamdouh, or to evacuate Mamdouh as soon as possible. Because by this way, I think that if they give us a hand to hold our son again, we will keep appreciating them all life. At the same time, I ask the Minister of Immigration, Madame Lina Diab, and also the Minister of Global Affairs, Anita Anad. So, Madame Anita and Madame Lina, please, as a mother, they are mothers. So if anyone can see his child like that, I'm not asking to do anything for me. Just only bring my son. Just only bring him here. Just first, PR application, 52 months. See this application, please. If there's not TRP, issue for him any paper just to leave him out of Gaza Strip. Because it's for me, it's like a nightmare. Everywhere, I can't,
Every news story, every headline. I can't imagine.
I can say one thing. How can I drink, for example, water? And I know that my son has no access for clean water, for food, for safety, for nothing. My son, 5 days ago, he was suffering from GIT. I'm a professional in public health, and I do understand what the meaning of GIT.
What is GIT?
It's gastrointestinal tract infection. So at that moment, the patient is suffering from something related to vomiting and diarrhea, and at least I was not able to tell him just drink clean water, or the temperature is high, no water for compressions. So how can I survive at that moment? How can?
Mr. Abuzatan, I know it is painful to sit here and have this conversation, talk about your son and look at pictures of what he's experiencing right now. I appreciate you coming in and giving us a face to the plight that is happening for other families in this country. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for receiving me today. And please, I wanted to send a message for all government. Please help my son to be evacuated from Gaza as soon as possible. Not to hear the word of too late, because I don't want to hear this word. I need just to see my son. At the same time, for all people who like humanity, I am saying I'm not here as a father. I am pro-humanity and came in here for a humanitarian issue. So humanitarian issue is important. Please, if you see my petition, sign it and help me to raise the voice of my son to be evacuated as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, AI can be used for many things, but what about your health? We'll talk about how AI managed tools can help and the risks to look out for.
So we've been talking a lot about AI on the show recently, from travel to jobs to education, and even how AI is affecting wildfire coverage. But what about your health? This morning, we are looking at how AI-powered tools can help manage your health, when to use them, and when it's potentially harmful. To do that, we are joined by family physician Dr. Vera Cahoot. Great to have you on, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Should we start with the good news? I think we should.
Yeah,
Let's start with the good news. So what sort of things can AI help patients with?
So AI can help with things like taking a symptom and asking about it. It can help with things like making medical information more usable. You know, you get a result, you look at it, and it's medical jargon, right? It doesn't make any sense. So you can ask AI to translate it and make it layman's language. Same with things like blood results. You get them and you don't know, you know it's red, you know it's black, but you don't know what it means. It can be used as the chatbots can be used. They can be used to remind you to book an appointment. They can be used to help you track your blood sugars. It might be even really useful to get some general information on just wellness, well-being.
Yeah. You can have conversations.
Yeah,
really.
right. It'll talk to you.
It'll talk to you. So what about what AI can't or shouldn't be used for?
So AI, if you think about it, is a machine that has been given information and then it gathers information from all of its interactions. So it's not nuanced, it's not personal. It doesn't really, it's not looking at you, it's not listening to you. It's not in an environment where you're with a provider that's actually paying attention to what you're saying, what your body language is like. It doesn't have all of that information. So it's simply taking information from a block of data and pushing it in, and so therefore understand that it's not going to be necessarily about you. It also, if you ask a question, it may not be able to answer it properly, so it may hallucinate. It may give you kind of an answer, but it may not be accurate, it may be overgeneralized. Important to understand that as well. And finally, it's a product. And what it does is that it's the first step. I always say it's a first step to you self-diagnosing, but it is not the end result. It's not replacing your primary care provider that's going to be able to actually diagnose, look at the conversation, put it together, make a diagnosis, look at the lab results, or even bring in specialty consults. So it's not doing any of
You know what I think about, we talk so much about how so many people in this country do not have a primary care provider. They don't have access to a family doctor. Could this help in that respect too?
Yes, it is. When you think about the fact that it's available 24/7, right? You can just go on there. So you can ask it about a symptom and it can be helpful. Or, for example, if you have a condition, you already have a condition and you want to know a little bit more about it, it can be very useful for that as well. It can be valuable because it is a first place to resource something that you might then want to go further and get some help with.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. So what about red flags when it comes to AI? What stands out for you?
So if AI starts to give you a diagnosis that's a single, like one thing, that's it, it's all it is. And I go, no, it's not quite right. What about if it starts to say information that doesn't quite make a lot of sense? So it might be making it up. And it does, because if you ask it a general question and it can't really zone in with all of the information, it'll say things, well, more research is needed, or it frankly will just make something up. If it's giving you information that intrinsically doesn't make sense with what you're asking, a question.
Right.
Or if it's not recognizing that you have a symptom and you're talking about something and it's escalating and it doesn't appreciate that there's a risk there, then beware.
Should I be concerned about entering sort of my personal health information into
by
this?
all means. Okay, look, that information that you enter in, it's going out into ether. Okay, so be aware of not putting out information that's overly personal. It's not private.
Yes.
It doesn't have that. It's not your doctor's office where the record is locked under key.
Right.
Okay, it's out there.
So be aware of that. Thanks for walking us through this morning, Doctor. Great to have you on.
Thanks, it was great. Thank you very
nice
much.
to see you.
At one point, Paul looked up at me and he said, I mean, they were only singing Obodi Oboda Bra Wawa, How the Life Goes On, over and over again. And then they took a break for a moment. They went back to it, and Paul looked up at me and said, that's all there is so far. We don't have any words yet.
Ahead on your morning, a Canadian filmmaker with an amazing story about his connection to the Beatles.
Did you know some of the most iconic photos of the Beatles were taken by a Canadian? Paul Saltzman is a renowned filmmaker who captured what are deemed to be some of the most intimate images of the Beatles taken during their historic 1968 trip to India. Originally, they're on a project with the NFB and visiting the ashram to study meditation. A 23-year-old Paul ended up spending a life-changing week with the Fab Four. His shots from that week have been featured in books, a documentary, and now there's a new exhibit for fans to revisit the photos. Paul is back in studio with us this morning. Welcome back to your morning.
Thank you.
First of all, this is the ashram, correct? Where you and the Beatles were. These were the separate rooms where everybody stayed?
No, it was, those are meditation rooms for sadhus, for devotees. We
Okay.
didn't stay in rooms like this.
Okay.
In fact, my memory is those weren't built when we were there.
I see, okay. And you were on a tent outside the ashram until they let you in.
Right,
We'll get to that
exactly.
in a second. You came back to Canada after this trip and you developed these photos and they sat in a box for decades. What do you love about bringing these photos out again and sharing them with the public?
It's a joy. It's a joy, just like the Beatles' music is a joy. So when I get asked about it, it brings it back like it's yesterday.
Okay, let's share some of these photos with everybody. And a reminder, you were just 23. A young man taken with the NFB out there and staying on after an assignment. The Beatles show up at the ashram. This is the trip where they wrote some of their greatest hits to remind everybody, like Blackbird and Back in the USSR. And you got to witness this, their songwriting process firsthand. What was that like?
They were joyful. I sat with them when they were working on Obodi Oboda.
No way.
And they were just in joy. They were playing with it, they were working it, they were bending it faster, slower. At one point, Paul looked up at me and he said, I mean, they were only singing Obodi Oboda Bra Wawa, How the Life Goes On, over and over again. And then they took a break for a moment, they went back to it, and Paul looked up at me and said, that's all there is so far, we don't have any words yet.
Every time you hear that song, you must have this memory.
Sure.
Incredible. The other thing that stands out to me when I look at these pictures is how young they were and how much of their story was not yet written.
Sure.
You know, of course, the murder of John Lennon, and you see these images. What do you think and recall when you look at them?
What do I think?
And recall when you look at these images?
Well, my time at the ashram was life-changing. I mean, what took me there was a broken heart. And so I didn't even know they'd be there. So when I got there, the ashram was closed because the Beatles and their wives were there and they were doing a course for TM teachers. So that's why I had to sleep in a tent outside, and I waited for 8 days. It was not good news they were there because I couldn't get in.
Right.
I was trying to solve a much deeper problem. I'd seen them live at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto in '64. Their music had already changed my life.
Wow.
So, you know, when I was waiting outside, I was just in agony with a heartbreak. What happened was I was taught meditation after 8 days of waiting. Took 5 minutes, and I did a half-an-hour meditation, and it was an absolute miracle. I came out of the meditation, the knife in the heart was gone.
Wow.
The screaming in the head was gone, and I was in a state of bliss. And George Harrison said to me a couple days later, he said, I get higher meditating than I ever did on drugs. And I knew what he meant because I had just experienced it. So meditation is a magical tool.
Yeah. And George Harrison, of course, we know went on to have heartbreak after heartbreak of his own.
Sure.
You know, the Beatles weren't the only stars who were at the ashram that you were rubbing elbows with. I find this part of the story fascinating as well. Mia Farrow was there, the Beach Boys' Mike Love. What a group of people and what a time. How did you fit in with the group?
Well, I can tell you how it happened. They took me into their group, but the reason they took me into their group was play, being playful. So when I came out of the meditation and I was in a state of bliss, who knew? You know, I was high from a meditation. And I was walking through the ashram. I wasn't even thinking of them. I was just so happy to be not in agony.
Right.
And I saw John Lennon sitting at a table outside, and far away, 150 feet, I could see Paul was sitting opposite him. And I found myself curving. It wasn't a thought. Very interesting, just in the flow. Now I'm walking towards them. It's like, oh, I'm walking towards them.
The Beatles.
I get halfway to them and I'm thinking, oh, my heart's beating faster. But I wasn't caught in it. It was just an observation because of this altered state.
Right.
So when I got there, they were talking. There were the 12 of them, the people you spoke of. And I just stood at the end of the table. I didn't want to interrupt. And after a moment, they realized there was somebody standing there, so they stopped talking. And John looked up at me. He was this close. And I said, may I join you? Very calm. He said, sure, mate, pull up a chair. I sat down. He turned to me and he said, so you're still, he said, so you're American then? And it was not a compliment.
You're right.
He was teasing me. He was a brilliant, lovely man. So he said, you're American then? And I said, no, Canadian. And he turned to the rest of the group and he said, he's from one of the colonies. Now we're all laughing. And he turned back to me and he said, so you're still worshiping Her Highness then? And I said, no, not personally.
Yeah.
Then Paul and Ringo started teasing me about having the Queen on our money. And I said, well, we may have the Queen on our money, but hey, she lives with you guys. So we just were playing with each other, and they just took me into their group. So I just hung out with them.
Paul, this is the best slideshow I have ever been a part of. What great stories. Thank you for sharing them with us this morning.
Thank you.
If you'd like to see these photos, they are truly remarkable. They're on display at the Markham Street Gallery until Labor Day. Next week on Your Morning, we are talking about families getting ready to send their kids back to school. Welcome back to the weekend edition of Your Morning, and thanks for joining us today.
Coming up this half hour, back to school laundry training. Yeah, we've got tips on how your children can learn something new, maybe before even school starts.
Plus, we have the perfect menu for your next patio dinner party.
But first, the founder and CEO of Cheekbone Beauty.
Clean beauty isn't just a buzz phrase for this next Canadian brand, it is a mission. Formed in 2015, Indigenous-owned Cheekbone Beauty is leading the charge in challenging industry standards when it comes to what clean beauty means. Founder and CEO of Cheekbone Beauty, Jen Harper, joins me in studio this morning. It's great to have you.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, so take me through what sustainable clean beauty is. What does this mean for you and for the brand itself?
Yeah, so first, I love to make sure this is defined really well for the consumer, that there is no global or regulatory body of compliance that is telling us what that actually means. So brands really have to do it for themselves. And this has taken, it's over 10 and a half years of work for us as we've been on this journey. And so at Cheekbone Beauty, how we define clean beauty, first we say we're beyond clean, because we look at it not only as in the safety for the human, so how it works on skin based on dose, but also how it's impacting the planet, which no other brands are honestly talking about. And we felt that because of my Indigenous roots, we took this very seriously to make sure that our color cosmetics are not only safe for the human, but safe for the planet. So many clean lists, unfortunately, have ingredients like isodiocane, dimethicone that are silicone-based that don't break back down when they reach an ecosystem. So think about it, if you're wearing your makeup makeup while you're in a lake, ocean, washing your face, all of these go back and will impact our ecosystems in a negative way. And so we want to make sure the ingredients that are in Cheekbone Beauty products are formulated with safety of the planet in mind, because we take this relationship that Indigenous people have had for generations with all things living very, very seriously.
Jen, the way that you talk about that with the passion you have, like I got chills hearing you speak there. Listen, this last year has been kind of unprecedented when it comes to Canadians looking for Canadian products, for things made here in our country. So how has this push helped people turn to you and to your brand to buy their makeup?
Yeah, we've had a wonderful experience since January, and it's obviously such an unfortunate situation, and it has impacted our business. We've had to pivot on where packaging is coming from and where it's being transferred and shifted, and had to make a lot of really tough decisions this year. But I have loved and felt the love that's coming from Canadians. They have fallen in love with our brand and what we know about Cheekbone Beauty. And this is, as a founder of a company, I am so proud of the returning customer rate that we have this year. So on some of our hero products, like our Unified Multi-Pencils, customers come back at 65% rate, which in CPG, which means consumer goods business, that is kind of unheard of. And so I'm really, really proud of it. So once a Canadian finds us, they fall in love and never look back.
God, that must feel so good.
It does. It really does.
It's been 10 years of this. Like,
Yes.
I love reading the stories of the beginning of
my
your
goodness.
career, that you had a dream about seeing young Indigenous girls with brightly colored lip glosses. And then you were in your basement and you posted these pictures of you, like, you're right in there and
Oh
you're
my gosh.
packing everything by hand. Now, fast forward like 10 years later, you're in Sephora, you're selling in Canada, you're selling internationally. So is there like a standout moment from the last decade? Is there a moment where you thought, okay, I've made it? Or are you just trudging forward and like the end is not in sight yet?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I'm learning so much. And this is a really sad thing to admit here on national television, but I feel like we just figured out product market fit, which most entrepreneurs really have nailed in the beginning, but it just took us the last 2 years to do that. And we're really seeing the powerful effects of that. But I had no idea what I was doing. I was selling seafood before I started this company, and then just became so passionate about this mission to have Indigenous people just feel seen in terms of marketing and branding. And that was just the initial goal. But then I jump into an industry that I knew absolutely nothing about, built our lab at our headquarters in St. Catharines, and started working with our chemists, sustainability science and experts, and trying to figure out, is it even possible to make makeup or products like this? Turns out it is. Of course, it costs a lot. It's really expensive. We've done so many research and development projects where we've taken active ingredients from grape waste from the Niagara region. We partnered with Henry Pelham, an incredible winery just around the corner from us, and their Baco Noir grape, we took the waste and you extract like resveratrol, lactic acids. We've proven that this works, and this is coming from, someone who knew nothing about beauty, but here we are today. And I feel like the learning, it has made us experts in what we're doing now, but there's still so much more to learn. And we truthfully and really honestly and transparently want to share with our community and Canadians that we will never have everything perfect, but it's this idea of understanding that there is a better way to make products, and we're working really hard as a business to do that.
Jen, you started that answer saying, I think it's sad to admit on national television. I don't think that's sad. I think that's really empowering. I think for people watching at home, they should feel inspired by the fact that you've done this. Maybe they could do it too, but you've created this incredible journey that I think is inspiring so many young entrepreneurs out there. That's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, pairing wines with Mediterranean dips with sommelier and wine educator Debbie Shing.
So going out for dinner is fun, but nothing compares to a good home-cooked meal. So today, we are outside with food expert Vijaya Silvaraju with some delicious dinner recipes you can eat on your patio while it is gorgeous weather outside. Don't forget QR code. You can scan that and get these delicious recipes, including your favorite barbecue chicken recipe.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing it.
Oh, of course. This is a no-brainer. This is the recipe that I'm making all the time. In fact, I made all of these recipes for a big family barbecue recently, and it went down a treat. So I'm going to show you how I do it, okay?
wait to learn.
So the key to victory with chicken, I feel, is a marinade.
Okay.
Right? So this marinade is starting off with yogurt, and yogurt is great because it tenderizes the chicken and it makes it so moist and juicy. So you're just going in with plain
You're
yogurt.
putting this in a bowl, but you said you often Ziploc bag this kind of stuff.
Yes, that's right. So it's fast and easy. You throw all your marinade ingredients into a Ziploc bag,
Okay.
squish it around, throw in your meat, and you're good to go.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger. So this is a
Yum.
Moroccan-inspired barbecue chicken recipe. A little bit of garlic.
Can I stir this for you
Yes,
while you're doing
please.
that? There's
And
another
then we're
spoon
going to
over
go in with a few spices. So
Okay.
I love turmeric for its color. We're going in with some black pepper, a little bit of cumin, which is nice and earthy and toasty. Some lemon juice, which is going to add a little bit of zip. We have olive oil. And then we have 2 herbs. So I have parsley,
Yeah.
lots of it, and some cilantro.
And the color on this, because I took a sneak under the barbecue lid, and
Yes.
it looks really good.
It's
on the
really
grill.
pretty. Touch of salt, right? And we're gonna throw in our chicken pieces.
Okay.
Now here's the thing with marinating. I always say marinate as long as you want. So if you
Okay.
only have 10 minutes, that's great.
Yep.
If you have more than 10 minutes, excellent. I like to marinate it overnight.
Okay.
And that way all those flavors sort of get in there.
Okay.
So let's head to the grill. Now the grill,
Oh,
all that it's gonna take,
it looks
yeah, right?
so good.
It's only gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes to grill up this chicken, which is fast and easy. So you wanna start it on the hotter side of your grill, and that'll give you those beautiful char marks. And once you have those char marks, you're gonna move over to the medium, kind of low side of your grill
looks really
to kind of
good.
almost bake with the lid on, right? So there we go. Chicken on this
at
side
this.
is done. It is glistening,
I
folks.
know, you're making me wait, though, aren't you? You want to plate
Right?
this for me first.
Oh
I'm
my
fine
God, of
if
course.
you just if you eat off the platter.
Let's do it. So I have thighs and chicken drumsticks because I love dark meat on the grill. It's so
Yes.
nice and juicy.
Lots of fat.
Oh yeah, yeah. You need that fat. And
I
then
know,
a little
Vijaya, I'm sorry, I can't wait.
chopped
I'm just gonna eat
parsley
some
on
now.
top.
Oh
How is it?
It's really good.
Nice
I can
and
see why
tender,
this
right?
is your favorite one. Not only is it tender, but the flavor as soon as you put your
Yeah.
teeth on it, yum.
Yes, yes. And so to go with the chicken, I thought I'd make a nice refreshing salad. So we're all familiar with watermelon salads.
Love it.
But this is my little spin on it. So we have some beautiful watermelon going into this bowl. You want to take a bite?
Yeah.
Watermelon's really great right now. And when you're looking for watermelon, one of my big tips is that at the bottom of the watermelon, if you see a little patch that's yellow, that's usually a really great sign that it's going to be sweet.
Okay.
So tons of cucumber, and then I've made this dressing with lime juice, honey, and a little bit of Scotch bonnet.
Oh, heat.
Heat,
Sweet and
right?
heat. I love it.
Yeah. And so what the dressing does is it soaks into the watermelon, making it even more juicy and sweet, which is delicious. So we're gonna give that a nice mix. And of course, we need the classic addition of feta in there. So we're gonna top it with some
I'd throw this
feta.
over my shoulder, but that would be later. So I'm just gonna hang on to it.
Yeah, you don't want that landing on someone's head. A little bit
pigeons
of
will
feta. And for the herbs, we're gonna do a nice combo of mint as well as some fresh basil.
Oh, that mint in there is so good.
Can I tell you, my husband went to the grocery store yesterday and bought 2 huge plants of basil.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out things to do
To make
with
with
that
basil? Are you gonna do a lot of pesto?
A lot of pesto
Oh,
and then
this is good.
freeze it. And then we're gonna also do a basil ice cream, I think.
Oh,
Right?
That would be
Fun.
refreshing. Look how pretty this is
Right?
as well.
So beautiful. And then, of course, to finish things off, we want to do a little bit of a drink for everyone. So we're going to do a punch. That's okay. We make it work.
There's a fly in the punch.
That's okay. There we go. I don't
Okay.
think, is it a fly? No, I think it's a speck of fruit. Is
Okay.
it?
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll
Actually,
make
it's
it
not
work.
a bug. No, it's not. I
So,
think it's from the
in
chicken.
this punch, it's a very spirited punch. Okay, there's
Yes, what's in
peach
here?
schnapps, rum, vodka, a little bit of
Am I putting
lime
the whole thing
juice. We're gonna mix in actually a little bit of
Let's do
lemon
this
lime
one
soda.
Okay.
Let me get that lemon lime soda in there.
Ooh, that's good.
Lime juice, pineapple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice, which gives you that beautiful blush color, and
Yeah.
in that goes. This is the drink that you want to make to
Yeah.
get everyone into the spirit, dancing,
Delicious.
having fun.
And
That's the spread.
It's good food, good company. It's what you want. Thank you so
Exactly.
much. Don't forget the recipes. You can get them by scanning the QR code. This is delicious.
Bottle of wine is usually the go-to when heading to a summer party or barbecue, right? Our next guest says anything from the Mediterranean is a good option to pick up and taste so good with all of this hot weather that we've been having. Sommelier and wine educator Debbie Shing is joining us this morning with also some bottles and also something to pair it with. These dips look incredible.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Okay, so tell us about the first wine.
wine.
Yeah.
And the dip that it goes really well with.
Sure, yeah. So all of these wines are from the Mediterranean. The first one is Tornatore Etna Bianco. This is a white wine made of Caricante in Sicily. Crisp, like tropical, creamy, but also a little bit salty.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, really refreshing. So with it, I've have this Mediterranean Labneh here. Here you go.
Look at how cute these are, Debbie.
So Labneh is sort of a cross between yogurt and cream cheese. Is probably my best explanation. Got like
Oh, that's so nice. That
speaking
combo.
with my mouth full.
Yeah, we're gonna
A
do
little
that.
little hint of salt. That creaminess really suits this wine perfectly. Great for any sort of like meal opener. And there's a little bit of garlic and tomato
That's what I was
confit
trying to
in
get
here.
on there.
Oh, yeah.
Needed a stronger cucumber. That is so lovely. That pairing is delicious. What do you have next?
Thank you. So the next wine is also from the south of Italy, this time from Puglia, the heel of the boot. So Tormaresca Califuria. Califuria is the name of the wine. This is a rosé made of a unique grape called Negro Amaro. In Italian, this means black and bitter. So it gives sort of like a fresh herbal vibe.
And that's the color I like. Like I'm drawing to sort of like a
Thanks.
lighter
Yeah.
color for rosé.
Absolutely. Yeah, really nice,
delicious.
clean and dry. That little hint of like herbs and bitterness. I decided to pair here with a walnut pesto. So all of these mezze are from Parallel Brothers in Toronto, and I just really like the flavor of this.
That is delicious.
Thank you.
I love that pairing.
So fresh, goes perfectly with this dry rosé.
If we're like,
I'm
we
savoring.
should alternate. You know, I should be eating when you're talking and vice versa.
It's all good.
That is lovely and very smooth. What do you have next for us?
So next, we're taking a trip to the south of France because I think there's, besides Italy, there's nothing more Mediterranean in the south of France. And here I have Gabriel Meffre Saint Francois Côte d'Aron Rosé. So this is another style of light Mediterranean rosé made of Grenache and Syrah and some other local varieties, and a little bit more like rounded and soft. So I've got this paired with a little bit of hummus.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Oh, I like that one a lot.
A little bit more fruity, a little bit more like round on the palate. So I think with something creamy like a hummus, it should go really well.
Okay, question about rosé, because I have a question in general. You know, when we talk about bringing a bottle over to somebody's place and they've invited you over, I sometimes forget if people drink white or red.
Yeah.
So what would be like, if I had the best shot of winning in terms of what to bring over, what do you bring? I bet you bring them all, but what if you were me, a white, a rosé, or a red?
I feel like with most parties, especially at this time of year in the late summer, you can't go wrong with either any type of like dry rosé. I really like bringing rosé if I can find it in a magnum, like a larger bottle. It just looks more showy. Or sparkling wine is also always a really good
option.
Yeah, it just sort of elevates your summer meal. I love bubbles any time of year, but yeah, other than that, like a dry rosé, and again, if I can find a large format, it just looks extra fancy.
It does.
Yeah.
I know, agree. What is our last wine?
Yeah, last but not least, this is Domaine Melody Crozes Hermitage. Crozes Hermitage is an area in the, also in the south of France, in the north of Rhone. This is always a wine that's made out of Syrah, and Syrah is sort of medium-bodied, velvety, smooth. I really love sort of these like smoky flavors that you get in this wine.
It's nothing like drinking it 8 something in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a little bit sort of like closer to cellar temperature, which is the way I like it. It's a perfect barbecue wine. Things with, you know, a little bit of char or grill on it, like this fried eggplant here, is sort of like the perfect foil with.
That's lovely.
Thank you. Yeah.
One of the things you and I were discussing was how we both love to eat like this, like to have a little, like a bunch of small plates.
Girl dinner.
Girl, is that what it's called?
I think on internet, yeah.
On the internet, on the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. I think got it right.
On cyberspace.
Cyberspace, on that thing that we use. But this is such a lovely way to eat, and especially if you're gonna like sit around for a late lunch or something, especially at this time of year.
Absolutely, yeah. I find for me in the warm weather, I find it hard to eat like a full meal.
Yeah.
Grazing is sort of like a really elegant, easy way to go for a long, lazy summer lunch. Like,
I mean, so good. And you've done
Yeah.
the cheat sheet for everybody, so you can grab these wines and have that lovely lunch.
Thanks.
Great to see you as always.
Likewise, thank you.
Happy summer.
Happy summer.
We're still in it, everybody.
Yes.
We're gonna be back in about 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning, helping you grow your very own fall herb garden.
question for you this morning. Who taught you how to do your laundry? Whether you know a young person heading out on their own for the very first time, or you need a laundry refresher yourself, we are talking Laundry 101 with expert Lindsey McConnell this morning. Great to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start pre-wash. What do we do? We're sorting here, but what would you recommend?
Absolutely. So laundry is pretty simple with the 3 simple steps. We're going to sort, we're going to focus on settings, and then we're going to focus on storage. So when it comes to sorting, you don't have to be super meticulous. A lot of us know, sort your lights and darks, but I also like thinking of fabric, function, and color. So functionality, like if we're doing a lot of athletic or workouts, maybe keeping those items together. Usually they're polyester. Same with, your delicates. I always like to put mine in a mesh bag.
And why is that?
Just easy to store afterwards, keeping everything together. Less mechanical action, less friction on the fabric. If you have any bras, they're not going to hook anything, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I also like to flip any colored t-shirts or logo t-shirts inside out so the laminate doesn't come off because of that mechanical action.
That's a really good idea.
Yes.
I had never thought about that before.
Yeah, it's a really simple trick and it takes a few seconds.
Amazing. So now we've sorted. We're going to head over to our machine, and there are a ton of settings. There's 2 or 3 knobs. We've got temperature. We've also got water settings. So take us through temperature first.
Absolutely.
What are we picking for each type of option that we have?
So let's do cold, warm, and hot. So for cold, just your everyday items, definitely colors. I always recommend working your way up in temperature. We want warmer water for our whites because our whites need to kind of release that soil and that dirt, and that warmer water is going to help. And then hot, I only like to reserve for dish towels and other towels, so things with bacteria.
Really?
Because heat can kind of be a culprit in your wash cycle. It also uses a lot of energy. So instead, reserve that for anything that's getting really grimy, anything that you really need to clean in a sanitary way.
So Lindsey, what would happen, or what does happen when we take our darks and you throw them on hot? Does it just bleed the color out of them?
It definitely can. It depends on how that dye is set actually in the manufacturing process, but color loss and fading is really prone in that process if you use warm water.
Okay,
and then water.
What happens with our cycle settings when it comes to the water, the actual setting of the machine?
Absolutely, the mechanical action, what's happening inside the machine. So there are a ton on the dial, but let's keep things simple. Let's just go with your delicates, your normal cycle, usually 45 minutes, and then heavy duty. Delicates kind of speaks for itself. Any of those delicate items, undergarments, anything that might be like a tank top, maybe has embellishments that you've turned inside out. Normal cycle for your t-shirts, your jeans, and then heavy duty, again, only really reserved for those towels, really dirty items.
Yeah, hoodies, sheets, we've got it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Big, bulky things that you see machines not doing, the whole sway side to side.
Absolutely.
When it comes to being done with the laundry, all our clothes are clean, we've washed them, we've dried them, or we've hung them.
Yes.
When it comes to deciding what you do with them, when it comes to storage, is there a rule of thumb with industry standards of what you do, or is it just personal preference?
A little bit of both. So I recommend hanging anything that's going to have an iron or a steam finish. So that way that you pull it out of your dryer, you're gonna hang it up, it's gonna prevent wrinkles, and then you're gonna give it a steam or an iron. So things like dresses, button-up shirts, definitely. When it comes to t-shirts, sweaters, jeans, I like to fold mine. And then towels can sometimes be something that are a little bit more tricky to fold. A lot of our towels look like this.
They do. So this is my towel.
Right.
I'm sure these are Anne-Marie's towels. How do we make it look nice?
Okay, let's do it. So we are gonna lay our towel flat.
Okay.
Think of a third, and then we're gonna fold in 2 halves. So
I'm already starting off bad. I can't even lay it flat. Okay, so a third.
We want it horizontal.
This way. Lindsey, you do it. You do it. You take it away.
So we want to do it into thirds.
Third, getting nice crisp edges. I love it.
A third.
And then in halves from there.
And you got it. And a half, and then a half. And then they stack really nicely. You can put them in your pantry or underneath your sink.
This looks like yours. This looks like mine. Lindsey, we love having you on the show. Thanks so much for coming back.
Thank you so much.
That's it for your morning weekend. Don't forget, you can scan these QR codes, you can receive Your Morning, the newsletter, or listen to some more great conversations on Your Morning, the podcast.
We have another awesome week coming up. On Monday, a full rundown of the first of 2 Oasis shows in Toronto.
On Tuesday, author Lyndon McIntyre returns to our show with his latest novel.
Then on Wednesday, the stars of the new stage version of Loathe Thy Neighbor.
Thursday, one of Canada's greatest ever curlers, world and Olympic champion Jennifer Jones brings her brand new memoir.
That's awesome. And then on Friday, we'll check out some new podcasts you may want to start listening to for your commute to work.
Including ours. That sounds like a great week ahead. We hope you can join us then. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend.